Hello.
Hello, everybody.
Good evening.
We're here to show you Songs of Silence. Really happy to be here, and we'll show a new scenario we have never shown before. And just as a quick reminder, who we are. So I'm Alex, I'm creative director for Team Chimera.
My name is Quentin. I am the design project manager at Chimera, working on Songs of Silence.
Exactly. So Songs of Silence is a turn-based fantasy strategy game. Without further ado, I would say we'll just jump right into the game. Switch over. So you can see part of our work in progress main menu. So we will show you a scenario out of the main campaign of the game, so the story campaign. I switched to scenario 3. So
what happened just before? Maybe a brief intro because what happened in map 2?
That's a good question. Like map 1 in our scenario here, this is the one you can actually play yourself because our game has a demo available. You can check it out on, I think, Good Old Games, but also on Steam, obviously.
Yeah, Good Old Games since actually today. But
today.
Steam is where people have been going to up until now, and yeah.
Exactly. So please play it yourself. It ends a little bit with a cliffhanger, but that's the intent. Scenario 2 we will skip for today. It's a very special one. We don't want to spoil too much here. And our heroes made it out of a very desperate situation by the skin of their teeth. And they finally arrived in this, the Blue Veil, where they are hoping to found a new home, like to find a new home, found a new city for their people who were driven from their homeland.
And the main hero we are following is Lorelei, accompanied by a friend that actually came along in map 2.
And no spoilers, really.
But yes.
Okay, so let's jump right into the game. This is still work in progress. Take all you see with a little bit of a grain of salt. I will skip the intro to this scenario because this is still being worked on, so it's a little bit static right now. We'll summarize the story for you.
Since Isla led Lorelei and Hauser for the first time since the fall of old Erengard, Lorelei feels hope. Somewhere in this dale, there must be a place to settle down, a new home. Far away from the Crusade's stranglehold.
Okay, so we made it to the map. Oh, there's a little bit more dialogue going on.
Milady, Isla has found something.
Maybe something good for a change. We could really use some hope.
Yeah, and Lorelei is actually quite weary at this point. So again, coming from map 2, this is why she has this kind of tone where, oh god, I hope something good is coming.
Would be really good for a change, for sure.
Yeah.
Like our people at the end of their strength. So we have 2 heroes here. You see Lorelei, you already mentioned her. That's our main hero in the campaign, at least in the beginning of the campaign. There will be an interesting shift in perspective sometime later, but you can see her here. In our game, you can right-click anything you see on the map, like a location, an army, a hero like this. So you can see her in all her glory. She has a lot of different special rules because she's a more complex unit. She's a hero. And she has a couple of keywords here. And she has access to cards. The cards represent her unique abilities she has access to. You can also right-click on the other units. This is a unit of Iron Sword, Bull Riding, Heavy Cavalry. Lorelei is a cavalry-focused hero, like a knight-focused hero. So they are also knights. And she boosts knights in different various ways.
Yeah, and she also has cards tailored to that playstyle that we see on the bottom left. Obviously, we will be able to see them in action quite soon, but yes.
Let's move to the battle. But before we advance, because there are some enemies coming up, there was mention of following Isla. So Isla is this holy bird here, and this is like a totem spirit animal, which is guiding Lorelei here. And she seems to have found something. So this is some kind of like a guidance you can roughly follow on the map, which points you in the right direction. So this is probably the spot we have to go to. Let's see. Like I said, you can right-click anything. We can also check out enemies. This is a very weak enemy army. They have a couple of Spartas. Those are very aggressive enemies. They can just punch right through our front lines. It's not a great idea to put, for example, weak units like archers or summoners or healers right in front of them on our end, because they will just run right through. And those guys are very weak. They're a little bit more tanky, they're slow. So the only thing we should avoid is putting a unit right across of those big pigs. Let's have a quick look at our other hero. That's Hauser, a hierophant, like a priest type character.
Yep.
her mentor, and a really good summoner character. He's a very different playstyle, access to different cards in battle, outside of battle. We'll get to the cards in detail a bit later. But one thing I can see is he brought his personal pet unit of priests, acolytes of wrath, and those guys are very, very destructive at range. They have Annihilate, they have long range. Annihilate deals additional damage. They break through enemy supernatural defenses, wards. So this is really useful. And I will just use this hero to meet the other one, because every army can only ever have one hero. But if they meet in the field of battle, I can drag and drop units between those two armies in any way I see fit. So for now, because Lorelei can lead the larger army, she can lead up to 6 units. The priest is not as good as leading armies, but he's a very strong force to be reckoned with based on his summoning cards. So let's pick the priests and give them to Lorelei. And we'll set up a unit on the top. Let her boost the knights, a unit of infantry down here, and then we'll set up the priests down here. Because if we put them in the center, like a symmetry type of thing, they will just be crushed by the pigs. So there is a lot of depth to the management of armies. You don't have to understand all of this from the get-go. It's no big deal. But this is already scenario 3 in a campaign, so it's slightly more advanced. The pigs will try to charge, but since our units are fast, they will miss their target. That's really nice. So we can just get rid of them for a while.
Yeah, that leaves time to then thin the others out, which is good because we don't have that many units and we might need them for afterwards.
So now they charge our knights. I'll use this card to evacuate our knights. Buy them a little bit of time, because I can use the card to charge our knights to a desired location. It's normally used aggressively to charge right into the enemy's catapults or ranged units, but here I'll buy them more time to get them in range of my priests. And you will see that the lightning bolts make super short work of those guys.
There we go.
This is great.
So when we win, we gain a mix of gold and XP. Obviously, the bigger the army, the more the XP, and there's also, we'll see later, an ambush. If you win and you've been ambushed, you actually win even more XP. So yeah, that's pretty good.
Perfect. We are most of the way to the next level up. One little thing I want to mention, right now we start at level 1. You will be able to carry your progress of your heroes through the campaign. So normally you would start this scenario with a little bit of a higher level, but yeah, this is still all being tested right now. So let's continue. We have conquered this location. This game is all about exploration, conquest, warfare, set up strong armies, synergies, build up your heroes, and then, conquer this terrain. Locations play a vital role. This location is not very useful because it's ruined.
But we can make it useful, and when we mean useful, that means it help us that we have the building card. If we play it on that location, then we restore the location and it helps us win more resources. And if we look on the top left, we see that our resource meter is going to increase slightly, I believe.
It does not.
This one it does
On
not,
this one,
but it will later.
This is actually a military type location. Like this is a watchtower.
But something happened interesting. There's like a missing unit before. In the reserves, we had a loot wagon.
That's true. It's a little bit more complicated. Let's talk about this maybe in a minute when we can see it easier.
Yes.
Because yeah, I completely forgot about it, and then now the loot wagon is gone. But we will explain it in a minute. So we build up the location. That's great. It costs us building material. We have 0 income. That's not great. We need to conquer locations which grant us income. So let us continue our path. This is a turn-based game. I mentioned it initially. Lorelei has a run out of movement points. She's stuck in this location. After you move all of your movement points, or after you fight for the first time in a turn, you lose all your remaining movement points. Now I ended the turn. You see there's the neutral faction is currently acting. Now it's our turn again. All of our movement points, the black bubble down here, are restored. And then we can now use Lorelei to move out of here and try to explore further in the direction of this holy bird marker. Little interesting thing I will quickly just talk about. As you can see, I can move to any position I want to. It's not like a tile-based system where you move from one tile to the other. It's more like a digital tape measure, like in a tabletop game. I can drag this anywhere and see like this is 5 distance from here. I still have 7 movement points, so I can easily get here. I can even hold Shift to set. Oh, It only works with the other shift button, sorry. So I can use the shift button to set up multiple waypoints and move in really weird lines or, redo this whole movement. So let's move up here, see what happens.
We are in your debt, Isla. You have truly guided us to a new home. I don't know why this grand old city fell, but if we pull together, we can rebuild it as our safe haven.
Indeed, milady. The guiding star has rewarded our faith.
So, can you give us a bit of background as to why this is important for Lorelei and Hauser finding this grand old city? Because it is pretty much in ruins, and who would want a city completely in shambles?
That's true. So our world is very much in peril. There's this phenomenon called the Silence. This is where the name comes from, Songs of Silence. And there's this new... They think it's an evil faction. It's a little bit more shades of gray, but there's a faction which actively spreads the silence. They use purgatories. We'll get to this maybe later. Like basically natural phenomena which are very destructive, and they destroy the land. And Lorelei's home was also invaded by these people, and everything was destroyed and succumbed to silence. And in the silence there can be no life. So they were driven from their homeland, and they've only seen war since they left. They have traveled through the silence, they've seen ravaged landscapes, they were engulfed in a war in a different country and kicked out, basically. So finally, they get somewhere which seems to be like, there seems to be no people here. So they hope that they can rebuild the city and live a little bit in peace. Yeah. That's their goal for quite a while now. So again, we've run out of movement points. Let's scout up by picking this little here.
We don't want to attack those units. We're way too weak at this point.
This is probably not the best idea right now. Those guys are really tearing armored units apart, so our knights are really weak against those. So yeah, for now, let's just stay away from them a little bit. There's a big army moving up here. We should be careful. This army is strong enough that they might not attack us. Hauser on his own will probably get attacked and be destroyed. So I will for now just hide him in the forest. I'm moving in the forest, so at least he's safe for the time being. And we'll bring Lorelei into the city here.
We must rebuild this city at once. Tomorrow will be the first dawn in the age of New Erengard.
Okay, so we have to rebuild the city.
Yep.
We use the same option. If you move in a ruined city, you get this card. Normally this costs quite a bit of building material. This one is for free because that's a story situation here.
Today marks the beginning for a new era of peace and prosperity. A new Erengard that will in time live up to the legacy of Lorelei's forefathers. All night long, the capital's streets are filled with laughter and merriment. Standing in front of the rambunctious crowd, a visibly relieved Lorelei launches into an emotional victory speech.
People of New Erengard, we are home at last. Tonight, our ancestors will watch from above with pride, for at long last, we know that our traditions will live on, and yet, we need to remain vigilant. These lands are unknown to us. Danger is lurking outside our very gates. Tonight, we celebrate. Tomorrow, we set forth to secure this realm.
So yeah, the cheering crowd is still a little bit of a placeholder effect. Yeah, it was not as epic as it could have been. You've seen, we finally found a new home. So that's our base of operations for the near future. We have updated objectives. They just popped up in the center of the screen. In our game, you can zoom out by just pulling back the mouse trigger. You will immediately go to this smooth overview type of map, and you can point at any position and zoom in directly there. So it's really useful for getting around. If you zoom out, you also see the current goals you're supposed to do. So we have to basically conquer this map. That's very freeform, this map. You can tackle it in different order and so on. And the standard lose condition of our game, if there's nothing special going on in the campaign, for example, is you are kicked out of the game if your capital is captured. And this is the case here. So this city has to be defended at all costs. So now, please go.
No, I was gonna say, so there's the fog of war, obviously, that reveals itself the more we move, and when we, depending on the location we conquer, it actually expands the fog of war more or less on there, and that's how we see that there's this location up north. We see the little guys peeking there, and yeah.
We'll check it out in a second. But first things first, I would take a look inside our city.
Yes.
So you can see our army is now inside the city walls. City walls are here because this special location is fortified. It's very important. It prevents enemies from immediately attacking you. They have to lay a siege ring around your city. We'll probably see it soon. And have to wait several turns. They can bring siege weapons, play special cards to break through the siege more efficiently. And we can do the same to prolong the siege.
And the number of turns that you have to siege a location before entering it varies depending on
the quality of the fortifications. Exactly. They could be simple wooden walls. This is fortification 3. That's the highest rank. So we have ranks 1 to 3 for all of our special rules. And this is a massive fortification. Inside the city, those cards still belong to Lorelei. That's the same. But we have a set of cards here in the middle next to the city icon. That's the city right here. And cities normally provide you with gray cards. The gray cards are what we call recruitment cards, recruitment options. So the city provides us with the option to recruit spearmen, hearth sworn, they are called in our game. And we have archers. There are more options, but they will only unlock later. Yeah. Because all locations also have a level, the prosperity level, and this will slowly go up, and once it's completely filled, we can then again play a card, this one, the build-up card, to invest resources to upgrade the entire location. It will grow visually on the map and become much stronger and unlock new cards.
And how do you increase this prosperity?
Yeah, we could actually increase it by using one of Lorelei's cards in this case. Blue cards, we haven't checked those out, are available on the strategic map view here. Once you select something, for example, a location, you see it down here. This could be upgraded. We can't because this still has to collect more prosperity points. You see the yellow half circle bar up there. But in this case, since Lorelei is sitting in the city, she actually has access to 2 interesting cards. This one is called Isla's Guidance. It's a very interesting and important card because it buffs your army or a friendly army around you. I could drag it here, but I don't want to spend the resources just yet.
Yes.
And this gives you the option to discover hidden enemies around you, which are hidden in forests, and it makes you resistant to being ambushed. Ambushes are very destructive.
Yep.
We will surely be ambushed soon, so we will get to this in a minute. But
this spoilers.
But this protects you from being ambushed. And this card is a building. Our game is I would say it's a focus strategy game. It flows very quickly. I know I'm playing quite slow because of all the explanation right now, but normally it plays very quickly. You conquer things, you build your armies, you heal your armies, you go back to the front lines, explore some more, conquer something. So our focus is not on the, I would say, city management part. This is not a game where you look into a city and then you get 25 buildings and you have to build them in all the cities you conquer. What you can do instead is you can play those cards. I cannot afford it just now.
Yeah, missing building material.
Building material here. So, and then I can upgrade the city with a little city district, and this grants different cards, special abilities to the city. But I have only 1 upgrade slot in this faction per location, so I have to choose carefully because different heroes have different cards.
And coming back to what I mentioned earlier but didn't work out, we have now a certain income that shows on the top left. Before it was +0, and since we've conquered the capital, we have certain levels of income that obviously the more locations we conquer, the more income, building material, or divine favor we will receive at the beginning of our turn.
Exactly. We can use those resources to spend them on cards. Recruitment cards normally cost gold or special resources like this divine favor. Our priest hero can summon otherworldly creatures. We call them luminants, so they cost a lot of divine favor. This building material is mostly spent to upgrade and rebuild destroyed locations, all those things. But there are also factions, for example, we'll see some soon. They have constructs, so they use building material to recruit very powerful stone creatures. So let's pick up a unit. We just drag the card to the position where we want them. This is a unit of archers, would be very good. We have strong frontline units, so let's pick up some ranged damage. Here we are.
There we go.
We'll just put them in a solid position. Infantry in front. Loyal to protect those guys. Knights next to her. They will charge ahead real quick. Give the archers a little bit of breathing space, and then they can kill it. We still have one more slot, so let's just pick up this unit as well. Pass one. It's cool. That's a basic infantry unit. It's not the strongest in the world. They have a couple of special rules. They are cavalry slayer, so it's good against cavalry because they carry spears, quite obvious. But they have a cool perk called banding guardian. They are guardians, so for every other guardian in their army, they are gaining more combat power. So if you build a huge group of guardians, they can become quite powerful. And this is a bit like Magic the Gathering or similar games. Or those tags here, unit, starborn, infantry, guardian, they don't do anything on their own, but certain cards boost or artifacts or hero abilities or unit auras boost specific units more than others, or only specific ones. This aura from Lorelei here, for example, she boosts with leadership knight type units. She's a knight type unit, that's great. Those are knights, the rest are not. So maybe we should pick up some knights if we can get access to those.
But then this feeds into the, let's say, advantage or functionality where you can have different play styles with one hero, and then you have each hero who have their own play style. So it really multiplies the possibilities and types of, let's say, way of managing your armies by quite a high number.
Exactly. What I will do here, real quick, I just put the infantry in the center. It will be not great if I can think about it.
Yeah.
The enemies have AoE attacks, so they will just rip apart those guys.
Yeah.
But the other ones have this trample ability and will go right through those. So I cannot have my ranged units here. So the best thing is to lure them into attacking a single unit.
Yeah.
AoE is not effective at all. I have to sacrifice one infantry unit to lure the big pigs on the bottom away, and use the knights to lure the other one away, and then those guys can rip them apart.
Yeah, maybe let's just go back to the screen of the other enemy, just to show how they are and why we did this. Yeah, so there's not that many, but again, there's the boars, the Svarts, if I'm not mistaken.
Svartas, yeah.
Svartas, they will break through, so we have to protect, I would say, our range. Yeah.
This ability, like right here, line breaker, that's devastating, and those guys have ranged area attacks. That's never great for big groups of infantry. They will just completely be obliterated. But we want to take those forests up here because it grants us a lot of resources, especially building material. So let's attack those. We ran out of movement points right in front of the forest.
at their door.
Right. So let's send a Horser over here to pick up some units and the turn. Okay, maybe we should stop talking so much. Ooh, there's somebody's battling there. Ooh, some neutral army attacked the location. That's cool. As long as they're not coming for us, they can do whatever they want down there. So, new turn, new luck. Let's try this and hope we don't screw this one up. Placement of units is super critical. You see those big explosions, but my infantry gets trampled quite a bit. But they should be able to hold them off quite a while. The knights should be doing okay. I will help out my infantry
with the
against
meteor.
those guys. Ugh. Those guys should be, they're not much weaker. That's a ranged unit that plans. So once blocked on a melee, they are weaker.
Alright, I think we're pretty safe. And the ranged units did not take in single damage, which is
great.
Which is good.
Yeah, if we would have put them down here, the pigs would have just got right through the infantry and crashed through the ranged unit, and they trample them quickly. So this is cool, maybe, yes.
Oh, there we go.
That's enough for a level up. That's always nice. So leveling in our game. We'll see a level up popping up soon. Here it is.
I wish my parents were here to see what we
Done. Let's wait for the talking.
I'm sure they are watching from up there.
Yeah, so, there's a little bit of banter going on. We'll not go into details about the story here. So we got a level up. Like I said, like everything else, this is done by playing cards. You can accumulate multiple level up cards, so you can, save up on this and then do multiples at the same time if you want to, or recruit a stronger hero later in the game, and he already has, he or she has access to level up cards. Yes. I'll just play the card on my hero in here, and we have reached level 2. And whenever we gain a level up, we get to choose between 3 different card options. We can either unlock completely new cards. This is a recruitment summoning type card. This is actually a card which upgrades weaker units to stronger knight type units. This is really cool. This is a building card, the blue one. So we can fortify locations by building defensive walls and giving it different special abilities. And like all building cards, they also unlock unique units. Quite powerful, very expensive though. We cannot afford it. I
Right
would
now,
not pick it
yes.
now. And we can also sometimes upgrade the cards we already have. This one would upgrade the knightly chart. We have not used it much, but it makes it much more destructive. So
Yes.
our knights trampling through enemy units and just dealing a lot of damage. It's very nice.
Yeah.
We don't have a lot of knights right now. I would pick this to get access to more knights. This is really cool. And it's...
And also we gain, in addition to the card, one additional unit placement.
That's great. So our army can hold one more unit.
Yeah.
That's super powerful.
And another thing we gain by conquering this location is a card on the bottom left. That one, I'll let you explain, but it's pretty neat.
Yeah, so a couple of locations like this dark forest here are called adventure locations. This is an adventure 1 location. It's not as dangerous, but you cannot expect super good rewards here.
Obviously.
You cannot do anything with this location until you have cleared out the monsters if you send like a hero in there. So since we have a hero here, we can use the adventure card to explore it. It sounds a little bit more glorious than it is. Like right now, there's just the sequence happening. There's a little bit of effects missing and so on. But we could fail, but we could also win. In this case,
we win.
Golden Sheen shows us that we successfully completed the adventure.
So we got gold, XP, and
This one is very important.
Yeah.
It uses the wrong icon though. But this should be a strong unit, a rare unit. It's called a Dracora. Let's take a look. You can gain access to very unique units you would otherwise not get
yes.
by doing adventures sometimes. And this is awesome.
Yeah,
because-
this is a really bad boy.
Exactly. So like it's relatively tough as a monster, but the cool thing is it has ranged area attacks, massive area attacks, super long range, indefinite range really, like shoots all across the whole battlefield. And because it shoots like those spore capsules, like it has like a toxic cloud, it breaks through all ranks of armor. So if there's heavily units, they will just be completely obliterated. I can put it right back here, for example. It still has a range to shoot. This is really cool. There's no way to replace this unit if you get something unique like this. So you should keep, be careful about it. But the forest also gives us access to recruiting really interesting wild type creatures. And those feathered hounds here, they have the scout perk, so it lets us discover hidden enemy units. And they are also guardian type units, which have a nice synergy with our spearmen here. I will not pick them up for now. Well, let's
Maybe, but we can put them in the reserves because
could. But I'm just thinking of saving up for Horser troops. But let's pick some up. So you see, it's a really nice looking unit of dogs right here.
great artwork.
Yeah, all of our units have those unique artworks, and we do a lot of what we call visual storytelling. So there's always a little bit of like inspiring thing about our game world to discover. For example, here you see those people, they look very uneasy and they are knocking on the door marked with a special sign of Ezra. I'm not going into this like spoiling thing, but you can discover a lot of snippets of lore by just looking at things, reading those little blurbs of text down here, and it's quite a rich game world we have built for a long time.
Yes, and if we leave the feathered hound in the garrison column, when the army leaves, it will stay in the location, which can be pretty convenient if you want to defend the location without your army actually being there. But obviously, if you want to take it with you, maybe do some exchange with another army, or then it's better to put it in the reserves.
That's true. And another cool thing to do with the reserves, if we were to be attacked again, I'm sure this unit is gonna die.
Yep.
They are frontline units, they are completely depleted, like 5 of 16 combatants are still left alive. We could just put them in the reserves, because units in the reserves are not participating in combat. We will put the fresh unit here, and we try to bring them back healthy, or at least semi-healthy, to one of our locations, which has the supply perk, so they can be healed up for free. So it's always good to keep your units alive, bring them back, heal them back up. If the enemy does it, try to hunt them down mercilessly, send a fast army, ambush them in forest, like kill them. If they get away, they will come back, and that's not great.
And given that we're with Lorelei, there's a card that's shining that
This
we've gained just previously. Maybe we'll use it later, but
Well, let's talk about this. We just picked it for the level up. It's too cool to use. This card needs a Hearthstone unit. those spearmen, these or these,
Yeah.
and they will upgrade them. It bestows knighthood to those people.
Yeah.
The lowly spearmen will become very elite cavalry units. That's the honor guard of Lorelei herself. Only she has access to this card. The cool thing is, if I play it on a damaged unit, I will still get a completely fresh unit of honor guard. So that's a great way of upgrading this damaged unit and getting a super powerful. Let's get rid of the dogs again. Let's pick the strong ones. So honor guard is super massive heavy cavalry.
Great perks.
So, Linebreaker again. They're courageous. They will never run away. They're heavily armored. So great tanks, great damage dealers. It's what's not to love.
And given that we're playing with Lorelei and that she has cavalry
knights as well.
specialized, this is really convenient.
Absolutely. So let's pick up a couple of units to send out for scouting together with Horsa.
Yes.
You see, we have enough resources to use both cards. It's no problem. You can use multiple cards at the same time, but as you can see now, they are shrank down and they are grayed out. Actually, they should be locked like this, but this is probably coming soon. You can use every card only once per turn.
Yes.
So you have to plan a little bit ahead. If there's a big enemy coming and you have a lot of money, you can just spam stuff. You have to be prepared. So we have one infantry unit here, one ranged unit. It's probably not strong enough to send out Horsa on its own, but a little bit of exploration. Is probably
Maybe
okay.
something. I know something happened with the armies that were on the bottom right. Maybe we can.
Those guys?
Yeah, if we inspect them, maybe we can just see where they stand. Nah, no, I think it's a bit. We could, but. So this is typically a situation where we could try. Usually the game tells us if it's suicidal, it will tell us. If it's easy, then here in this case, it's like it's telling us maybe you can try, but there's a risk.
They probably will head further down. They are too weak to attack our city, so maybe we'll just leave them alone for now.
Yeah.
It's always better to attack with an overpowering army to take minimal losses. So let's see what's happening here. Though this is probably not something we want to attack. This is a different faction we now have discovered.
What is the faction called?
So those are members of the so-called old race. We don't want to show too much of those guys, just like a little sneak peek here. We don't know what they are doing here. They don't belong into this world, into our world. So maybe invaders, raiders, we don't know yet. But this phalanx of so-called constructs is extremely tough to take down.
Yeah.
And the big guy is just super powerful. So we will not attack those for now. We would have to lay siege on the fortress as well, so that's probably not the best idea.
At this stage, it's a mystery for Lorelei and Hauser encountering these guys. They don't know where they come from, where they're here in the end.
Did I just say they are too weak to lay siege to our city? They are taking the opportunity. Our city is completely undefended, and you can see that nearly all of the perks are now grayed out because the city is under siege. We don't get income. We cannot play our cards. All of this is locked. So we cannot recruit units. That's not great. We have to break the siege by attacking this army. Luckily, they have attacked some other dudes on this bridge previously.
I think they're
so
a bit kamikaze at this point going to our capital, but
let's just crush them.
So
That's
ambush.
Ambush. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, when we ambush, the units that we are ambushing, so from behind, they are stunned or at least unaware of our presence for a while, which leaves us some time to charge, prepare our battle cards, and deal even more damage before they can even react.
Exactly. And armies are ambushed in multiple ways. The most common one is somebody is hiding in the forest and somebody stumbles over this hidden army. Then they are ambushed. That's easy to understand. An army doing a siege, they are facing inwards towards the city. They are in a ring around the city. So if somebody attacks from the outside to relieve the city, they get to ambush.
Yes.
And the third way is, which is also very common, if you are moving your armies, maybe that's a good time, opportune moment to show this. Those guys ran away, so we will use those to pick them up.
Yeah, they were not completely defeated. They ran away, and there's a difference because then they left with it's gonna be like
all their loot. And
the loot is there, and that's 2 loot wagons are pretty interesting.
A lot of gold, but those people talking. So what we can quickly show, like back to our ambushing idea here, like the third very common way to being ambushed is if I move, I can move up to 10 movement points here. So, but if I move up to 5, half of my movement points, 50%, I will move and stay in this compact battle formation. I cannot be ambushed. If I move over 50%, you see the icon changes to this the marching boot icon.
Yeah.
And now my army will form a long thin line, a column, a marching column. And at the beginning of my next turn, they will form back to this battle formation. But if they get attacked by enemies before they form back, they will be ambushed.
Yes.
Because the marching army is so focused on moving fast. So you always have to be careful. Do you want to move fast or slow? Like fast is obviously great, but slow is safe. So
Yes.
it's always a little bit of a
So
mixed
in
bag.
this case, exactly, they're in a line.
Because they retreated,
They
that's what,
retreated.
like, so we can ambush them with the second army and crush them.
Yes.
Obviously, those two guys will probably not put up a lot of
I
resistance.
don't think they'll even have the time.
Hauser is
to react.
missing. What is going on? Oh, those are probably blocking this attack. Hauser can use this card to summon some Illuminance. That's super great to disrupt the enemy and just one-shot those.
There we go.
Okay. Luminants have fiery swords, so they have very high armor piercing, and those guys were
Yes.
armored, so that's not great for them at least. A little bit of experience. We picked up their loot. That's nice. We can bring back loot, those
Yes.
loot wagons, back into our city.
Yes, we have to cash in the loot wagons at specific locations. So capital, for example, but as well as this military location.
And this location is ready to be upgraded because it collected enough prosperity points. You can see this when you hover over the location, the yellow bar, but if you zoom out, you also see those bars. You can quickly see this one is ready to be upgraded. We don't need a military location down here just now, so it's probably not the best invest for resources.
Yes.
I would save this to upgrade either the forest quickly or the main city once they're ready. So let's do this and our turn. So currently we are just securing the land around our main location just to build up some more resources. Let's move a little bit more quickly now. I just try to clear out those enemies here. We can pick up an artifact up
Yes,
down,
that would be
like
interesting.
here. This would be cool. Let's see what this does. This army, those guys are weak to ranged and eliminate our knights, and this one is a really strong line breaker. So let's
I think we can take them on. We have to spread obviously our range.
exactly. Let's pick
units.
this here. Send those guys. Do we have? Yep, like a. No, we can send
we're
those
full.
guys, and we will put this thing down here, or maybe let's just support this with those guys, and this should be easy to take out the enemies. Let's see.
Pillagers razed this hamlet to the ground, and by the looks of things, quite recently too.
Okay. So let's see. The big pig will just crush through our lines here. Ooh, yes, I sense the knights into those guys here, and they are heavily armor piercing. So let's try to help over the meteor
Yeah.
and send some reinforcements. The infantry should be able to take those on. The big guy is running away. Maybe he's leaving the battlefield. No, it is not. But the rest is running away. That's
Yeah,
good.
that's good.
This one is a little bit confused. This is always good.
So the meteor that's going to fall deals damage, but most importantly, it deals stun. So,
Yes.
Yeah, it can be pretty convenient in certain.
And it's also only rank 1, so it's at its weakest state right now. We could level it up if we gain a level up. It's a potent card for sure.
So the army, the wild neutral army running away. Here we can rebuild the location.
This is probably worthwhile.
Yes.
Village is a solid generator of income.
Yeah.
Since I left, only the guiding star has been watching over.
So we cash in the loot wagon. That's going to disappear. There we just had the little VFX animations.
Add it up here. We'll pick up some more spearmen and archers, like in the other order. So the archers buff themselves because they are synergistic with the expanding perk. A lot of a ranged unit. Hauser is a strong ranged combatant as well. And Hauser can summon on the battlefield like we see.
Yes.
So if he just can stall the enemy,
Yeah, for a
give him
while.
time to summon more stuff, then he's
And then we
becomes very
supply with new units, let's see, summoned by Hauser little by little. So yes.
Exactly. Let's move back here. Let's try to attack those guys. We will not manage
not
to do this
enough.
in one turn. But let's see, those guys should probably not attack us back because they are very weak now.
Yes.
Next turn. Hauser should be more than strong enough to crush the rest here. And it's
Yes.
actually better to attack those with the infantry of Hauser. They have few shots, but the shots are devastating and pierce through armor. But infantry has no armor and they only have 1 health, so dealing multiple damage to them is also irrelevant. So it's a very good counter to those units, and we will only lose a couple of relatively
Yes.
cheap infantry person. It's not a great job to be an infantry.
Yeah. Life expectancy is quite low.
Exactly. During our testing, I don't want to know how many Hearthsworn had to, give up their life.
That would be
for
an
the greater
interesting
good.
statistics.
For
This
sure.
many Hearthsworn died during development.
It would be many. Yeah, this was easy enough. They still got away because they're cowardly, I think, so that's not great. We're still, fine-tuning the morale system.
They
so
they
people
can't
don't get away,
regenerate, so
let's
they
see.
pose no real threats.
Exactly. But Horsa gained a level up. That's great. Let's see what we can do here with a level up.
Okay.
So very different cards.
Very different
To Lorelei,
indeed.
he has a completely unique set of cards. Again, we have red battle cards, and we have a gray, in this case, summoning card. So all the gray cards add something to your armies, basically. This is a very potent summoning card. It can summon, like it says, elite celestial units. This can be probably the strongest units this entire faction has access to. It costs a lot of this divine favor, but Horsa can also build temples, which increase our favor income. It's questionable. This one is a very strong combat card as well. It gives you a complete immunity in an area for a couple of seconds.
But
Very useful to stall enemies.
But it's, I think, more useful when you have actually quite a bigger army because then it protects more. I know that I tend to pick the Celestial.
You want to go for it?
Let's go.
Feel lucky? Okay, cool. Let's go for it.
But we have to build also temples then from time to
Exactly.
time.
So let's try to get some resources and get a strong holy army going. Those are very
So
strong.
the temple building is
Oh,
the
yeah.
card we just saw on
This
the bottom, but we're missing
Well,
two
Next
building
turn, next turn.
materials.
Let's build a temple here.
Cool.
This one is actually a ruined temple.
Yeah.
So we can rebuild it, and this is also like a really strong generator for divine income.
Yeah.
So let's move it there. I think this is a very weak
Yeah,
one.
this is
Two
fine. There's
units
two
dogs.
of feathered
I
hands.
already feel very bad for attacking dogs. I'm a big dog lover.
So you just
wanna
put
point it
dogs
out,
against
I
dogs.
only do this because they are protecting this artifact, and I feel really bad about it. For the record. So let's attack those poor little doggos,
Abandoned in a hurry.
and they will probably have no chance against our armored knights
Yeah.
here. But there's dogs versus dogs. Oh my god. It's at least a fair fight. Let's throw a meteor.
Oh yeah,
just
yeah.
to make
Very fair fight. Now let's add a meteor. Great.
I don't think there's any dogs left. Well,
No.
our dogs at least. Yeah, they are super fragile, but they are more like it's actually better to have the dogs as part of your retinue, like your what's it called, the garrison.
Yeah.
Not the garrisons, the
The reserves. Because
Reserves.
then you can call them. We don't have the correct card, but we will probably get it later.
yeah, exactly. We could call them on the battlefield, but what I meant is they are scouts for your army, and they still provide the service even if they are only part of your reserves. So you can just take them with you to scout hidden enemies
Yeah.
and not stumble into like ambushes. Let's see if we can rebuild the temple. We can. It's 60, so we cannot build the golden temple from Hausa, but we can do this later.
Yeah.
This one, the
Yes.
basic temple, the celestial temple here, is a really strong location to have to increase our divine favor
Yes.
income. So you can see, like, this is a very different location. Its only job is to provide divine favor and also give us access to new recruitment options.
Yes.
This one is super interesting as well, but we cannot afford it, so
Yes.
let's get back later. That's nice.
But in the
Turn.
case, if for example we were to play with only Lorelei on,
Freedom for the people! Glory to Wotar!
Watch out, milady. Concorda rogues are controlling the south.
Okay.
okay, so we got some people, new people arrive.
This disrupted our train of thought. So yeah, this is actually a hostile NPC faction, and they have arrived close to our borders, and they will probably act very aggressive against us. You can see that they were added on this little turn wheel down here. So when we end our turn, they will get their turn from now on, and then it's the world and it's back to us. Concorda, they just mentioned the name, is the name for very brutal, it's like a crime syndicate in our game world. And they style themselves as the free people, and they just don't want to bow down to the highborn and so on. But they are actually rather ruthless, and they will surely attack us. Let's have a quick look at their armies. Yep, so
Okay.
this is an erudite, so-called, like it's a more like of a scholarly character, a ranged character, level 6 already. It's so great. And they have some Vogelfrei cavalry. That's a rogue type cavalry, light cavalry unit. aggressive, deals damage, but it's easy to take out at least. But they also have this banding rogue. So since they all are rogues,
It's like with the Hearthsworn, the more
Exactly.
of the same unit, the more powerful they are. So,
we need to get rid of a couple of those units quickly, and those are Vogelfrei infantry, so the rogue equivalent infantry unit. And they have pillage, and so like they like to destroy our locations to pillage them for resources. So let's see. This seems to be manageable. Ugh, this is even worse.
That's
Okay.
They are a bit of trouble, let's say. But the good thing is we've secured the north, and probably we'll be able to. We have to get to close by to start the preparations, but we should be able to, I think, defend ourselves here quite well.
Okay, we'll do a little trick here now. Both of our armies have loot. We will give both of our loot wagons to one army and move her into our city to cash them in.
Yep.
And this army is also damaged. We will end our turn in the city to let them recuperate. Like
Yes,
restore them.
that's something we haven't seen before. If we look at the units, they have these little plus signs that appear and indicating that they are regenerating. Obviously, depending on the level of the location, they will regenerate more or less rapidly. But yeah, it's very important sometimes to just chill.
Exactly. Only specific locations have this
Yes.
so-called supply perk here. Supply 3 is the strongest you can get, so it takes they will regenerate 30% of their losses lost health, but also the damaged hounds up here, for example, or the damaged spearmen. You will also restore the killed units to the unit. So it will not take long for us to be back to fighting strength. We will put the spearmen in the garrison in case we are attacked next turn. Let's put the militia. They can shoot down here, protecting with the damaged spearmen.
We can even do some recruitments because we have quite a lot of gold at this point.
Good point. Let's pick up some. Oh, we have damaged spearmen. That's great. Let's do the same trick again. Let's rank them up
There we
to
go.
powerful knights. It costs us a little bit of divine favor, but yeah,
Not too much.
it should be okay. So those guys are super strong. We will put the hounds then in the front here in the garrisons, and put them on the front line. We will do a little trick. Those heavy cavalry units break through the enemy lines. They don't stop. So we can put because they have the line breaker.
Yep.
So we put normal heavy cavalry just behind them, so they will break through and they will crash into the front ranks. They get sandwiched really effectively, and those guys also like to charge. Put the priests behind our defensive units, our offensive units. This should be good, and then we should be well prepared.
Maybe take Hauser closer.
Yeah. If they break through, we need a second army probably to.
Should we not add some units? So not to Hauser in the because we can't. It's locked for the moment. But to Lorelei in the capital, we can add units in the garrison. For example, infantry.
That's a good
archers. I wouldn't recommend because they would actually
the
get
front line.
Yeah, front lines. Don't put the archers.
We could put an infantry here, or like maybe in the center, so the enemies are lured to the center. They move towards the closest unit, and put the archers all the way up here. But maybe let's save some money. This army should be more than enough to protect the location. I would really not like to lose the hounds, so I'll actually put them in the reserves so they are not immediately destroyed. It's just we have to go back to the forest, pick them up again, and so on. So they might be very useful later. Let's end our turn here. Hauser should summon some angels soon. Next turn we will have enough divine favor for the small summoning card. So let's see if they act aggressive.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, okay, here they are.
So they've taken the bridge.
And will come for us next turn for sure.
Yeah.
That's the weaker army. We could counter-attack them here, or we'll wait. Because now it's fun. Like, they probably, if they cannot reach Hauser, they will probably go right at our throat and besiege our capital.
Yeah.
So then Hauser can attack them in an ambush.
Yeah.
And he should be able to take those out in an
Yeah,
ambush.
I think so.
But maybe we will pick up some summoning. It's only the weak one.
we'll
Do
be
you want to
able-
wait one more turn?
Let's wait one more turn.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. You wanna go for the
Yeah.
weak one? Let's see what happens.
Okay, so
Here they are. Okay, that's an ambush. So they form a circle around our city, looking towards our city. So their backs are turned towards the outside, so Hauser can ambush them. And the city's under siege, like we said. Lorelei is trapped. We cannot recruit anymore. Our income is locked, so we should break out of the siege as quickly as possible. Lorelei could make how do you call this in English? Like an exit? I'm not sure. Like she could countercharge out of the city.
Yeah.
But since she is facing them head on, this will lead to a normal battle.
Yeah.
We want an ambush, so let's pick this. But before we charge in, we will use the summoning card, the big one.
Yes.
This is the weaker summoning card. That's a strong one we picked up in the level up. They summon units from a different pool of units. Those are lesser celestial units.
Yep.
Those are elite celestial units. If we are lucky, we can get something really big. Let's hope for the best. We don't know what we will get. This is
Okay.
a strong unit. That's good.
Yep.
It's not the massive monster type thing we were hoping for,
But
but it is strong for sure.
it's good.
So you can see all of the celestials are those beings made out of pure light, basically. A little bit like angels, but it's unique to our lore. They
So-
are very strong.
And since Hauser is already at full capacity, we have to switch one.
We'll just leave a unit of infantry
Yeah,
here in the
garrison.
location, put those guys up here, them a little bit back because we can shoot, give us a little bit more time to shoot. They will march up, and we will put those down here. They have the fly perk, so they can actually fly to any position on the battlefield they want to.
We'll see it.
Let's try this and bog down the enemy archers if they have any. I think they have a hero we could bog down so they cannot shoot. Oh, they're in shambles anyways because of the ambush. We should have actually started like closer to them.
Yeah.
I didn't think of the
Yeah.
ambush. They have a shooting guy here.
Yeah, let's
to
try
knock
and
those
neutralize
out.
them.
And once they are occupied with them, we can jump our flying bulls over. Well, actually, I think we should actually fly them back here
Yeah.
to help out because our infantry is not as strong.
At least the range units are distracting the
Okay.
others. So
Yes.
that's
And
good.
the summon guys pulled back those while we shoot them down. That's great.
Okay. We
Our-
lost a few units, but
Yeah.
that's fine. It's manageable.
So
And summon
I think
again.
our infantry is still here in the live.
Yeah,
Let's bring in a couple of people back here so he stops shooting. We can also fly the bull back here. Maybe we should do it now. Oh, there.
Okay, they run away.
Perfect. So this was okay. And now we have driven them away from the city. They are in retreat. This
Yes.
means also Lorelei can now ambush them because an army while retreating is setable to being ambushed. Now we will just clean house with those guys, crush them, because those probably will try to get away and restore their army and their heroes. So we will just kill them really quick, and then
finish them
hope
off.
that the next army is not immediately coming in. Yeah, this will probably be over soon. Oh, this hero is a little bit tougher. Let's go meteor on its head. Oh, yeah.
Yep,
that's
that
this.
works.
Yep.
In doubt, throw a meteor.
Exactly. Or shoot with your crazy forest monster. That's always great. So yeah. So much for the attack of the Concorder, but there was a second army.
Yeah, that might come through, so
working
let's
there.
be careful.
Okay, we got a bit of loot. That's nice.
Can't move anymore, so we have
Yep.
to. go
But
to
both
the
of our
next round.
armies have not marched, so they are at combat ready formation. There's the next army. This was probably not the wisest of decisions. They should have gone for our weaker army.
I don't know who their general is, but I would suggest firing him.
Completely idiot. Well, they just have a unit of Jagas and brigands. Like, they're just greedy. And they brought a lot of loot for us as well. That's super nice of them.
How kind.
Let's crush them.
Die, highborn scum!
That's not nice. Okay. So now we'll see our line breaker in action. I think they will just go right through those guys. This will be
Yeah.
phenomenal. Screw
There we
butter.
go. Yep, just like through butter.
And now let's maybe stun those guys real quick. We don't want them to shoot on our guys. Oh, this thing is also shooting at them.
Yeah, and that one actually has, like we said,
Area attack.
area attack, so you can kill two enemies
missed
sometimes at
twice.
a time.
Maybe speaking about the combat system real quick, everything in our battle system is based on dice rolling. So you cannot
Yes.
guarantee that the hit is dealing damage. There's combat power, it's compared to the enemy combat power and special rules.
Yeah.
And this results in a chance for the hit to deal damage. So, let me quickly charge my cavalry back in. Oh, they ran away. So yeah, because we have seen that this, like, the big creature shot at this one guy,
Yeah, and nothing
it
happened.
was a range, but he blocked the attack twice. This could happen, it was bad luck on our end, but this is fine. So even a goblin could poke out the eye of a dragon, basically.
Yeah.
That's the philosophy. It's extremely unlikely, but it leads to those David versus Goliath type of moments,
Yes.
which can be quite fun.
So the siege now is done. We can even level up Lorelei, but we can also do several improvements on our locations right now because we have quite a bit of resources, and maybe we can try that temple we were mentioning.
Good idea. So let's start with the temple,
Yeah.
since you just mentioned it. You can only place a single building per location. Let's build a golden temple here. You see there's a little
Yeah.
district added. This now increases the income of this location, but we also gain access to a
New
new
units.
recruitment card.
Yep.
And this one is a super interesting priest type unit which continuously summons celestials on the battlefield. If you can protect it, they will overwhelm the enemy eventually. That's super cool, but they are quite expensive as well. So the other thing is, we picked up a level up. Let's quickly do this and give to Lorelei here. This is a cool card. Because this lets us bring in
Yes.
reserve units, the ones which are not normally
On the left, on the far
participating
left, yeah.
in battle. We can call them onto the battlefield to the position we desire. They try to charge towards the position. Super cool. Especially good for leaders who can only lead smallish armies. So they can bring additional units. Lorelei is already a good general type unit, so she's a high lord. She needs large armies. We can upgrade her unique building. Also great. It bolsters our, cities grow faster. It gives us more gold and unlocks unique units. It's also not bad. I would just pick this.
Yeah,
because
that
it's so
seems like
useful.
very useful, quick win, very powerful against enemies.
Yeah,
so.
but we have to bring some units in the reserves.
Yes.
We shouldn't forget about it, otherwise it's unusable. So this is great. Let's have a quick look. We have a couple of other locations which are ready to be upgraded. I would love to upgrade the forest. It costs
But
40
not enough.
next time. Forests deliver a lot of building material. We need it desperately.
Maybe if you zoom out, one thing we can point out is maybe some of you might have played the first map. This map is much larger. You can actually see the whole outline, the clouds. There's a slight
The stark
exactly
light contrast.
And we've been playing for, I don't think it's almost close to an hour. We have only uncovered a third.
Are we so slow? We're talking
Maybe
too
we're
much.
slow, but I hope we're explaining things with a good pace still.
okay.
But this shows that there's not a single map size in the game. It will vary, and of course, it tends to be bigger and bigger as we progress through the different maps in the story. But yeah, it's very interesting. There's a bunch of things going on in a very story-rich narrative behind.
Exactly. Map 1, you can play yourself in the demo, is, I would say, a little bit more advanced than this. This is still heavily work in progress, but yeah, I think you can definitely see where the game is heading.
Yes.
So we could pick up those priests. I really want to push forward and take the fight with the Concorda, so they stop
Yes.
sieging our cities here.
I agree.
Let us see what we can do. We need to pick up some units, so let's do the same trick again. Like the strongest unit you can pick up is purchase a cheap unit of Hearthsworn, upgrade it if we pick this card. It's just too good not to use. We lost a complete unit
Yeah, that's bad.
of Honor Guard, which is rare. They are very tough normally.
Yeah.
So with those units, I think we should be strong enough to just plow ahead and see what's on the other side of
We still
the
can recruit more because Lorelei leveled up and we have still 2 placements available.
You're
So
right. I just wonder if we should give some units to Horse as well, so we can push ahead. But he can do this next turn as well.
also, yeah.
Laura is not great with infantry, and the infantry is only good if you have multiple units. But we could pick up one to upgrade them later to the knights, so we should just take them with us. We still have a couple. They can also be called from the reserves with our newest addition here, the Core Reserves card. Some more archers, why not? Archers are always nice. And now we should have a really strong firing base here, some tough units. The bad thing about this is line breakers are not good tanks in this way. They just go through the enemy, and the enemy goes through them and
so
attacks our guys here.
they can
We need
end up-
some stationary blocker units. Let's see what we can do. Or maybe for now we'll just pick those guys so we can move ahead and block incoming enemies. So let's see what happens. There's a little bit of a militia unit here. This should
Queen
pose no threat.
Lorelei of Erengard, I've come to see your leader.
And then what? Think you can challenge him? Many laid claim to Lord Wotar's crown before. All of them perished. This land belongs to the Concorda now. We don't need your ilk anymore.
They
Yeah, so
what's
Wotar
coming
is
to them.
yeah. Wotar is the leader of the Concorda again. This militia. Wow.
It's also not a good idea to be a militia in this world.
Especially they were very, let's say, confident.
Exactly. And then this is what line breaker units can do to infantry. It's not nice. This is why you need blocker units to block the line breakers. But hey, they probably never got the memo.
There was a war of succession in these lands.
Didn't you get the memo?
Down by a Concorda leader known as Wotar the Usurper.
With a name like that, I'd expect him to be a major thorn in our side.
Indeed, milady. The Concorda consider themselves free people. But in truth, they are the most dangerous organization of criminals this world has ever seen.
Okay, so capture the bridge. We will now push further towards the south. This is where those Concorda rogues came from. I'm sure it will get a little bit more dangerous down there. We should try to build up a second army, just in case. Those guys are nearly healed up again. This priest, Hauser, also has the healer perk. So in addition to being in locations to be healed up, he continuously heals his troops and damaged units. So that's very nice. But he's a nice guy, I guess. Let's just wait until next turn. We are really low on resources. We don't have any recruitment cards left for this turn. And now we can do another summoning if we wanted to. Let's see what we might need. So now...
we can rebuild maybe the bridge. Or no, it's increased its prosperity.
Yeah, this is level 1. This is a really weak location. Now we can upgrade it, yes. Didn't we want to upgrade the forest, though?
Yes, at some point for Hauser, indeed.
Forest or bridge? It's your decision.
How much does it cost? Because I know the
60.
cost is different.
60.
60.
Oh, 40.
Well,
Yes.
let's go
We can
for the...
do both.
Yeah, we can do both, actually. So
Why decide if you can just do everything? So yeah, the location grew a little bit. This now provides more income, which is great. And we unlocked a card, which is a summoning card. Here we can recruit those little hounds we recruited. Mostly useful as scouts, not really as combat unit. But this summons units from the deep forest. And this can be a whole swath of different units. They can be super strong, they can be super terrible. We don't know.
unfortunately, the location is a bit far from our army,
We
so
can still do it later, though.
maybe later. And
So
we
we
can
wanted
upgrade
to
the
upgrade
bridge.
the bridge. That's always good. So it should also grow a little bit here. Yep. In a second flag. That's great.
And so that's the thing. There's visually when you upgrade a location, it changes more or less depending on what it is and how much you improve it. So yeah, it looks, in addition to having gameplay functionalities, it looks nice.
We picked up those priests. They go very well with Hauser's game plan. He's very much a ranged dude trying to bog down the enemy and summon lots of people. Those are also summoner type units, so this goes right, with his strategy. And then we'll try to pick up some more. Oh, this was actually costly. Next or the turn afterwards, we can summon some more angels. We will park this guy here just as a backup plan if Lorelei gets, attacked and defeated.
Maybe, I mean, there's loot wagons I see that we will probably not cash in if we move.
You are right. We can just give them to Hauser very quick, and he can bring them back to the city. It's not too much gold right now, but it better safe to be sorry. How do you say this? It's
Better be
sorry.
safe than to be sorry. Yeah.
Okay. Stumbling a little bit my way through this here. So this is a forested area, obviously. There could be enemies lying in ambush here. We don't know. If you just move straight through the forest, this might be dangerous.
We don't know, but we could know.
We could use this card
Yeah.
to discover them and make ourselves immune to being ambushed. It's probably a great idea. We can play it on Hauser and this location. We can also play it on this unit here. It should actually have a circle. Maybe there's some slight mistake. We got this buff.
So
now
the card is called Isla's Guidance.
exactly.
And
We can see that this army now has the. We should be able to see it. Ignore this. You will see the visual effect. You should be able to read up in the unit as well that they are now blessed, and the blessing lasts 3 turns and it does things. So now we could move through the forest. We could move down here. Let's advance a little bit. We can even march. You see that I'm marching in this long line.
Yeah,
But we cannot be ambushed because we have this protection from Isla. That's great.
and there was a text bubble showing saying army discovered.
Army discovered. Those guys were laying in ambush.
Yeah, they would have been visible if we went there without this card, and now we see them for the few coming turns, so this is pretty neat.
Absolutely great. Hauser has no such protection though, so I would just send him the left leg.
There's no force,
So this should be fine. I don't want to march, so he's not ambushed, so we'll just move a little bit further, just until before he's marching, he's still this battle-ready formation. And the turn, see what happens. Our goal, just to repeat it on this map, is to secure the surrounding area by destroying the Concorda faction
Yes.
and maybe other hostile factions if we meet any. We don't know yet. Let's see what happens. We go down here, and again, it's wise not just to go all the way up to the Fog of War. If we discover a strong army, we are already in marching formation, and we only have few movement points left, so we cannot move back. Exactly. So let's just move before we actually go into marching formation.
Okay.
And there is something here. It is a watchtower defended by a strong garrison, but there's no hero here.
Yeah.
So we don't have to fear being attacked. Only heroes can move on the map, and they lead armies.
Yep.
This is a defending army. They can, sitting in the garrison slots, so we have to take them down, obviously, but they cannot move out.
Yes.
Unless there's a hero down here and picks them up, but yeah.
I think a Hauser could actually take them on.
This looks manageable, yeah.
They look quite weak.
We can even... This is a siege, because it's protected, or fortified. And next turn, before the siege, the walls break and we attack, we can still summon an additional units. We should have more resources coming in next turn, so Hauser can be even stronger there. We can still be invisible to the enemy. You see this crossed out eye icon because I'm inside the forest and I'm not marching.
Not marching, yes, exactly.
Normal moving. My army shouts hide. It is now, there's this icon, completely invisible to the enemy. And if the enemy tries to move through this little valley here, they will be ambushed by us. That's great. Here is something. It's also a defensive unit. Those guys are quite strong. They are they are using a placeholder artwork for now. They should look a little bit different, but it's like a very special rogue type unit as well. We should take them out quickly because they can deal tremendous amounts of damage. You know what? Let's take them out.
Yeah, let's go.
And we will just charge right through with our beloved knights. They will just crush them. Hopefully they will move there, and then those guys shoot the rest. Sounds easy.
Thank you for saving us.
So one thing we can do in a battle is actually pause it.
Oh, yeah. I can click the little button down here. You can also hit the space bar. And I'm not sure if it's working yet. Yes, it does. It's great. So you can also obviously check all of the tooltips for your cards, for the enemies, or for the units. And you can even play cards. If I release it, let's see where we can play a card. Yeah, let's call reinforcements. I think that's a good idea. There's some people have crashed into our lines. We want reinforcements. Let's get them here. So the card will execute as soon as I resume play. So let's...
Maybe we can also put the meteor while we're at it, so the guys over there, because Lorelei is alone against all of them.
This doesn't look great.
Yeah, that's bad mistakes were made.
No, yeah, because this is the stupid thing with the line breaker one again. So let's resume. So there's a couple of hounds coming in, weird, and the meteor. So this has already been fended off, this attack.
Yep.
Lorelei has survived. That's great. She's still fighting. A couple of people luring our knight unit down there. That's not great. I will just charge the knight unit right up here to support Lorelei, and our ranged units are doing a good job. And there's this one dude, he's refusing to die.
He's very there we go.
He did so great.
Kudos to him.
What a hero. Okay, a ton of experience. It's good. A lot of gold as loot. Again, we will get this as a loot wagon in our army and have to bring it back to our city to actually cash it in.
It's not immediate.
Maybe we should talk about why we're actually doing this. Like, why do you need to jump through the hoops to actually get some loot? Artifacts are the same.
Yep.
The idea is obviously, once you go on a rampage in enemy land, you acquire a lot of loot. If he just gave it to you, then you could just gain it. There's no interaction here.
Yep.
But this game is also fully multiplayer enabled. There are randomized maps, we call them skirmishes. You can play them with up to 6 players. Especially for those type of maps, it's super nice to steal loot from other people. So they have done very, very well. They've done like three battles, conquered the location. They're on their way back to their capital or something, or like a city, and then you can just ambush them or attack them and destroy them. Get all the loot yourself and get it back to yourself, hopefully. You can do the same with artifacts. Did we forget to pick up the artifact? No, where did it go?
No, we did. I think maybe it's Hauser that had. No?
Where did we put this artifact? It is actually interesting. It is. Oh no, where's
where did we?
didn't leave our artifact behind somewhere.
Wait, did we leave it in the location?
It is.
Okay, so we have a missing artifact.
It's a little bit
If
weird.
anybody has seen the artifact, please
Yep.
send us a message. Or
So this might be a little bug here. We are supposed to have an artifact.
Yep.
Again, like the loot wagons, they are part of your army. You carry them with you in your reserves, and they buff your entire army. Or you can also leave them somewhere. Some of the artifacts buff locations, but enemies can attack our army and destroy it, steal the artifact, or pick them up from locations. So it's always a very a risk versus reward thing.
Yep.
Do we bring all the strong artifacts to the front lines? We risk losing all of them. So this is it's quite an interesting system and adds a lot of interaction between players and different factions. So this is why we did this. We have conquered the village. It's now currently burning. This means it's an unrest. We captured it. We could build a location upgrade to end the unrest state immediately. We can't afford it,
Yep.
so we have to wait a while to make it go away.
Yes.
Or
we
haven't
decide
talked
to
about
burn
it.
it to the ground.
we will
and
do so because
pillage it.
those are filthy concorder people. So we can conquer an enemy location. It is an unrest state. During unrest state, we can use the pillage card
Yes.
to downgrade its level. It's basically the opposite of building that up. It will lose a level. If it falls to 0, it's completely destroyed. This one had multiple levels, so we pillaged some money and we downgraded its prosperity level. If you look at it now, it is down to level 1.
1.
If you pillage it again next turn, it will be completely destroyed. And this can be a very valid tactic. If you cannot hold a location, if you just want to take away something important from the enemy, if you want to destroy the upgrade buildings, you go in, you pillage, all of this is gone. And some factions, some heroes can fully specialize into pillaging to make this the main engine of their economy, for example.
It's a scorched earth tactic. So
Exactly. Especially multiplayer, also highly infuriating, but also very effective. It's always nice.
all right, so we have the siege has now broken the gates, so we can with Hauser attack this location.
Before we do so, I think we will summon one more unit. Shall we?
Yes.
Do you want to try the big one again? There's a chance we'll get another unit of bulls, but we could get the super strong units.
Yeah,
This one will give us also very potent units, either very strong frontline units. They really lack the frontline right now.
Yes.
Or strong archer type units. I would actually go for this one.
Yeah,
because
I
the
agree.
chance to get frontline units is a little bit higher.
Agreed.
Let's try it. In the resource because our army is full. This
And
is
this is the Luminant
what we were looking
infantry,
for.
so this is what we're looking for.
a much stronger unit than our little spearmen. So we will just swap those directly and put them in the front. They are protected by supernatural protection. We call those wards, and they break through armor because of their fiery swords. So those two together can now block off the enemy quite effectively.
Yep.
And they also deal a lot of damage, so it's a really strong unit. So let's see what happens here. We'll attack the location. There's a lot of militia in there and some defenders. Look, let's hope that they can actually block. You see, they take a lot of beating here.
So we see the acolytes of Wrath summoning on the left.
Yes.
Progressively, they bring them down,
people, yeah.
and they just keep rolling in. So on the long, let's say long term,
Oh,
yeah, on the long term, Hauser
those guys.
is very powerful. He's a good hero to play the waiting game, if I may say. So yeah,
I will fly out my cavalry just to keep it alive.
yep.
And now they are hopefully locked down here. It would be so terrible to lose them. We completely forgot this is not only militia, those dudes here. There were 2 units of these, they called Shunned,
Oh yeah, Sean. Yeah.
and they are very strong. And I think they can break natural wards. We should have paid more attention. This is why they got rid of our Luminants so quickly. We lost the Luminant unit. It's probably very misplaced. We kept the bolts alive,
which is good.
barely. But as long as they're alive, Hauser will be able to restore them over time with his healer perk. So it's not as devastating as it looks. Captured the location as well.
It's in
Great.
unrest state for the end of the turn.
Unless we build an upgrade,
true.
we could end the unrest rate immediately, so they immediately get to restore losses.
Yeah,
Let's try it, I would say.
yeah.
Fall into anarchy.
I disagree, milady.
Big fortress.
Silence casts a long shadow. Wotar didn't create the unrest. He only exploited it.
We're talking about Wotar the Usurper. That's the boss, the leader of this enemy faction here. We found a strong location, like a big location here. We found another one here. I'm sure we will stumble over Wotar soon. Let's move a little bit closer. We still have a strong army here, and retreat back if they are too strong. Just take a look.
Yep.
Okay, there's a lot of units you can see inside the location.
Yep.
Let's take a look. That's probably not something you
Yep.
want to attack right away.
Not right now.
This is Yuta, the man, the legend himself. It's still missing the correct asset. This is a rogue prince. They are actually driving around in flamboyant chariots on the battlefield. This is currently a placeholder asset, so it's coming soon. But he has a ton of very strong units. Those guys are also very strong. We saw them earlier. The catapults are highly devastating against groups of units. So we need the night charge or something.
Yeah, we're definitely outnumbered
And outmatched as well. Like, we should bring at least a second strong army to attack twice in a row to give us a chance. Maybe even this is not enough. For now, I think we should explore down here.
yes, southwest. I
See
agree.
what's going on. We can move safely through the forest. Another army was discovered. They are laying an ambush everywhere here. We'll just ignore those guys. Oh, what's going on down there? That's a village. It was attacked recently because it's still burning by this unit. Rose Knights, very good defensive unit, and they reflect damage. Like it says here, the icon is still missing. It's not great to attack them in melee, and especially not great with unarmored infantry, for example. So either send something very tough or shoot them down. Let's see, we could do this with... We have a strong contingent of shooters here. I think we should...
Yeah,
easily
this is
take those
fine.
out.
But we won't be able to reach the location, so
Just head a bit further then, and this effect should be running out soon, so we either have to recast it. We are running low on divine favor.
oh, they just left the location.
Where did they go?
They're just next to us.
Oh yeah, they are. Then we...
Maybe they got scared.
Okay, then we first we'll take the location just to have it, and now we own it. It's going back to unrest for a turn. Okay, fine. And then we move back out and attack those guys and get rid of them. Otherwise, they will just take the location back. So let's crush a couple of planned.
Okay, this is really neat because they were all centered. We broke through them, and yeah, they probably won't last very long.
This does not
Definitely
work
won't.
for those guys. We got the dogs again. Who let the dogs out?
It's late.
It's late. Alright, sorry. It's been a long day. One more meteor just for the fun of it. Okay.
Good.
One down. One you would hard to go.
Barely.
So close.
Couldn't level up yet.
Next time. Okay, now let's take a look at the large location on the
Concorda
left.
are even tougher than I thought.
Their resolve is certainly impressive. They must have been through a lot.
Haven't we all, Hauser?
Okay. Also, this army was severely damaged. They already brought back one of the dead bulls. That's great. Horse's ability combined with supply should lead to swift recovery. Let's just push on. We can pick up some archers, but we need frontline units really.
Yeah,
So maybe we'll just put some archers here to defend the location.
Exactly.
And there's nobody approaching from this side so far. Maybe it would be wise, we know the scenario, but it would be wise to build up some garrisons in our home cities as well, just to be prepared if you don't know the scenario. But yeah, we just skip this for
Maybe
the
we
sake
can
of
build a temple. I see we have quite a lot of building material and quite a bit of
get
gold
more summoning
to
going
get more.
here.
Exactly.
We could build it right here. On this location, it's fortified, so if somebody starts
We have
siege,
the
we
time.
can get back and relieve the city. Build a temple here. Now this location also gives us access to the summoning priest. It's not bad at all, and it added its income. So yeah, up to 30 per turn. That's great. What is this type of location? It is a fortress. We have to lay siege. It has a semi-strong garrison here. We just...
This must be a Concorda prison fortress. Looks like our so-called free people aren't that free after all.
Okay, so we lay siege.
Concorda prison fortress. Okay, let's see. Something is probably happening here. In 2 turns. We can start the siege even with a weaker army. They don't have a hero, so they cannot easily make a breakthrough. They cannot
Breakout,
counterattack,
yeah.
breakout. So we can start the siege bring Lorelei over, and once the siege is done, they've broken down the walls. We can just move them out and attack with Lorelei. So that's probably a good tactic right here. And we will wait until the siege is over. We have run out of movement anyways. Let's move them over. Currently, our goal is to figure out if they have more armies hiding somewhere.
They don't want anyone to get in.
Or out.
Some slight foreshadowing.
Interesting what's going on there. So yeah, our goal is just to build up strong forces so we can tackle the boss down here. And they should be sending armies our way. There might be a slight issue with our current AI. So normally this map would be a little bit more dynamic. But like I said, we are still just like doing a lot of work, and in the background sometimes things break. That's just normal game development stuff. So one more turn, and then we will be able to break into the city, attack it. Now the wall should break down the next turn.
Did you just hear something, old man?
Inside the prison.
Yeah,
Shall we
somebody inside
This is great.
screaming.
The
"Get
gates are
out."
breached. The walls are broken down. We will move Horsa slightly out of the way. The walls will be restored in future turns, but in this turn we can attack with multiple armies. So now we can bring in the heavy hitters. We have again like our strong knights in the front. We'll just crush through those guys and mow them down. That's at least the plan. So this is.
Oh yeah, this is gonna be quite short.
So bring in a couple of dogs because why not? We will send our cavalry in this massive cluster of shooty boys up here. Maybe shooty girls. You never know.
A meteor to stun
To the face.
and
Okay.
neutralize these.
So let's. Yep. Those are going down.
Yeah, this is.
And a
this
couple
is
of people
fine.
are running away, but they're
Just have the
contemplating.
missile going overhead like.
They're contemplating their life choices. Wow.
Oh, nice help bar.
Our health bars are also contemplating their life choices.
Okay, all good. We got rid of them all.
Okay, so let's see if we can find something in the fortress. A level up, sure.
And the good thing with the fortress is that it has a supply perk, so we
Yes.
can cash in a lot of the loot wagons we've been, let's say, keeping with us.
Probably also recruit some very strong units here.
Yes.
It's a military type location. Oh,
I have found someone in the dungeon.
My name is Freymond. At least it used to be. Before the Concorder locked me up. Years ago, I almost brought down that rotter, Wotar. I don't even know why he's keeping me alive. Probably just 'cause he enjoys beating the living tar out of me.
Then today might be your second chance. Pledge allegiance to House Erengard, and we'll defeat them together.
Okay, so out popped Raymond.
that's very cool. So he was a prisoner of Yotar, the boss on this map, and he probably has plans for revenge. He now joined our cause. You see that we have a third hero down here, and if we inspect the new hero, you can see that this is looking quite unique. That's a really strong monster type unit. This is what we call a beatstick hero. Normally they lead very small armies, but they are a force to be reckoned with just
By themselves.
by themselves.
Yeah.
That's super strong. They normally have very combat focused powers, or they have strategic debuffs or buffs for armies. He can also move very fast. He can fly. He tramples a lot of units around him. He has the Slayer perk. He hates rogues, obviously, so he slays rogues because he was imprisoned by them. Makes sense. Linebreaker, so all of the good stuff. This guy is really strong on his own, like we said. We should still give him a little bit of support.
Yes.
And we need to level him up because he only started level 1. Lorelei, though, just reached a new level up. Let's see what happens here. Ooh.
Okay, so we can upgrade scars and fortification. Now, obviously, we kind of know what is going to happen. We would upgrade existing cars and not necessarily take
I
the
think so.
fortification
There
here.
is a massive boss fight coming up.
Yeah.
This will for sure deal a ton of damage. If we upgrade it, it goes from attack power 5 to 8. So all units our knights trample over will take a hit of this power. Just to gauge the strength, our units range from strength 1 to 10.
Yes.
Basic. And then you can buff their strength via different synergies and auras and cards and so on. But as strength 5, strength 8 hit if we buff this is super powerful. This one is also great. we can summon a unit from reserves now, not only every 30 seconds, but every 20 seconds. If we upgrade it even further, you can summon a lot of units during a fight.
Yes.
Also quite potent. Which one should we pick?
I would say the charge, knightly charge.
Knight charge. Let's go for it. We just need a couple more knights, and then we should be good.
So this time we didn't earn an additional placement, but it depends. It varies.
Exactly. Depends on the class, depends on the level you gain.
Exactly. So right now we have Hauser that I think had loot wagons also to cash.
We cannot cash it in because this is an unrest. We just captured it.
True,
we will use Lorelai's building this time because we just talked about getting more knights. This is a fortress and it gives us access to special units, but not the knights we're looking for. By building Lorelai's upgrade, we end the unrest state immediately, so we can immediately make use of the location. We gain its income, if it has any, but we now can rebuild the walls, and we can start healing our units, and we can recruit. And
there we go.
This type of unit, this the most heavy type of cavalry we have in this faction, can now be recruited because we built this special building.
And we have quite a bit of gold, so
pick it up right away. Let's see. Those are called the Rage Thorn. You can see those are like much more massive than the standard knights, even bigger than the our already elite honor guard. They are great. We don't have space, but I don't think we need some damaged spearmen here.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's put them in the garrison so they can be healed over time. Let's put those guys in here. And we still, all of those are line breakers. That's the only downside. We need some tough units. And this is the perfect unit for it. It's also a knight, so it's boosted. And they are foot knights, basically, carrying massive shields. They are extremely defensive. They're slow, though, but they can protect like a line of archers like no other unit. And we can also recruit those super powerful catapults. This is a great combo. Those in front, catapults in the back, they, tear lots of armies apart, unless they are flying or line breaker. Obviously, everything has a counter. But I think this is not the type of unit we want for Lorelai's army, but those are the type of units we want for Hauser.
Yes, absolutely.
So let's...
Maybe we can... we'll recruit them in Hauser just afterwards then.
They put those guys in the center because they are the most tanky ones, and then the shooty boys. So let's wait here. Hauser can quickly go up here and explore this.
Can even build a temple, an additional...
Okay. We should have... Okay, it's not a strong army. They were hiding in the forests. Damn it. We should have been a little bit more careful by playing the Isla's Guidance card before we entered the forested area, maybe. Now we are, our formation is in jumbles. We are super lucky, though, because our priests ended up in a position where the enemy could not immediately attack it. And the archers suffered some losses. Pigs are running away. We don't want the pigs to charge, so I will fly in the boars, our holy bulls, to keep them stuck in combat. Oh, they obviously don't want to be stuck in combat.
Nope, they just went the other way.
What are they doing? So yeah, it was a good plan in theory, because they have devastating charge. It's not the line breaker thing through the enemies, but they deal additional damage once they charge into something. Our normal knights do the same thing. Lorelai has it, so it's good to pull them out and let them recharge. You can use the knightly charge card for this as well.
All right, so he should let... Oh, come on.
Oh boy. Maybe just because...
So, then we can build a temple, for example, that would help Hauser again on the long term, and play Isla's Guidance. I think we have enough resources.
Isla's Guidance will be great. And as you can see, Isla's Guidance is a card from Lorelai, but she can play it on friendly locations or armies in range, so we can give it to Hauser in case there are more enemies hiding in those forests down here. It lasts 3 turns, so that's great. It should be enough to clear out the forest here. We have this guy, and we will keep him here, move him in the in this location. He has basically no army with him, and is level 1, so we'll keep it a little bit protected.
We can build a temple for Hauser.
This is already built though, and we can only have 1 upgrade per location. So if we build another location, it will replace the old ones. So be careful. This faction only has a single building slot. There might be other factions which are more heavily reliant on building. They could have multiple building slots, but this one is only 1. So you really have to,
and where does it show that we can only have 1 upgrade?
It does not show it at all right now. So it hopefully will show it in the future, but this would be great. The game is still lacking a little bit of player feedback. So if you play the demo, it should be better, but the tutorial there. So the tutorial in the demo, the tooltips, the inspection, like the arrangement of those icons, it can be a little bit chaotic and overwhelming at times right now. We know this, and we are continuing trying to improve it.
Absolutely.
So there's a long list of improvements we still want to make.
And a lot of the feedback came from the demo, also other closed beta players.
Closed beta is super helpful for us, yes.
So we take in as much feedback as we can.
So there's no ambushes anymore,
Yep.
at least here. That's great. This is a hidden village of Coburg.
Maybe we can go see what's there.
Let's just move.
I think I found something.
Astounding. It's a whole kobold village, hidden with some sort of godless trickery.
Please, spare us. We are not your enemies.
Don't be afraid, my friend. We have come to restore peace.
Okay, so we encountered certain new characters here. Maybe if we inspect the village, we can see. So there, yes, Coburg, so a village of kobolds, which actually we've met in map 1. Those who have played the demo.
Exactly. So yeah, kobolds are like a race of little humanoids, and they are also providing all those beasts of burden to carry your loot, your artifacts. They're a bit of a neutral faction in the game, so everybody trusts them enough to, give them those services. But they're not the strongest of fighters, but you can recruit some kobold units here as well. They have quite some fun units. Oh, this is still lacking the artwork right now. So yeah, but there are a couple of really fun units. This is the Wardens. This is actually a really nice shooty unit, which is also tanky. It's the perfect combination for Horser. He wants tanky units which also shoot because he boosts them. So let's put those up, put those in the front. They can fly wherever they want, so we put them a little bit back, see what happens, and those guys are tanky enough to take on the enemy charge. Summoning, like always, you could get access to different units. Here's another adventure location. Maybe we'll get something cool if we get it.
Yep.
I think, though, this has been going on for
For
quite a while now.
There's obviously, if we zoom out, there's still quite a chunk of the map to be explored. There's obviously, we've seen Wotar, we know we have to encounter him, but there's even things afterwards. So I think we're going to maybe call it a day, but we still want to have a Q&A sessions. So we are going to transition now into the Q&A. Please, if you have any questions, ask them through the different channels, whether it's on Discord or Steam chat. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed playing with us, discovering the different, let's say, bits and bobs that there is on this map, and that we really conveyed the, I would say, increasing complexity and challenge that it represents, because it is, I think, one of the first big map that we encounter, and they even get bigger over time. But yeah, there's a lot of, you have to think at the beginning it sounds easy, but then it actually increases. So yes, let us then transition. All right.
Yeah.
So we are.
Thank you for staying with us for this long. Hopefully you did. Yeah. Are there any questions?
So there is actually a question, yes. Maybe we can talk briefly about the history of this map, and I will actually transition back to the map scene, because it actually had quite a few iterations, this one. It was one of the first maps that was ever built, and then things kind of changed.
Well, that's true. Like, we have been building this game for quite a while now. And I think the very first map we built was a map like very much like this, where you fought a usurper king called Yotar.
Yep.
He is still in the game in a different capacity. But we built this for the Gamescom, where we showed off the game behind closed doors for the first time 2 years ago. So this was very similar to, like, it was different layout, but it was a similar idea to this map. This was the first proof of concept, I would say. Since then, this map has evolved quite a bit. Not everything is in here, which will make this map much more memorable and visually stunning. There should be blue flower fields all around the city and so on, but this will come. But you can already see that this is quite iconic. For example, there's this circular valley of mountains here, and this is where New Erangard is located. This is quite important because we will get back to this location, different parts of the map, multiple times throughout the campaign. And we want to make our maps very iconic, very recognizable. We are still working on this one. I think map 1 is already doing a good job. And there are a lot of way more iconic maps even in the game.
Yes.
So yeah, this was the first one. It went through a lot of iterations. Now this is close to its final shape. It lacks decoration, like I said, and so on. How it will appear in the campaign.
Yes. And another thing, so we actually just met the Cobalt just before on the southwest corner, which I was saying on the demo, we meet another member of the Cobalt race, which is called Pip. And there are these overarching, in addition, let's say in addition to the main storyline, we have these secret adventures that a player can, let's say, miss.
Yeah.
But obviously this yields in the end something, which we will not spoil, obviously. But there's side quests basically that carry on throughout the whole game.
A lot of them easy to find. Some of them easy to find. Some of them are quest chains which become gradually more difficult to find and interact with. Some of them are basically secrets, and you have to dig them up yourself. But there's basically on all the maps we try to have something interesting out of your way to discover.
Yeah.
Yeah. We have shown a part of the campaign. Just bear in mind the campaign is very story driven. It has its secrets. There are also randomized skirmish maps. You can play them on your own. You can play them with up to 6 players in multiplayer, with friends, with strangers. So that's the idea here. And then we have a system around those, the core gameplay. We call it the lexicon right now. That's like a book of knowledge. And whatever you encounter in the game, it will be inserted there, so you can complete a big collection. And it also has what we call quests. So there are different tasks for you to complete in skirmish maps throughout the campaign. For example, completing one of those side quests, which are quite hidden.
Yeah.
And those will yield unlock rewards, basically. You can gain access to new playable factions, heroes, fates, artifacts, units, all of those things. And this should make the game exciting in the long run. You can always look forward to unlocking something cool, to try it out, and gradually make the game more complex.
Yes, we got a question. When you get ambushed, are the units scattered randomly or just backwards formation? Wondering if one can position units preparing for an ambush.
That's a really good question from the chat here. The units are scrambled to random positions. We specifically want to do this so you don't have to micromanage every turn. For example, you move normally, everything is set up in battle formation. Then you march, you might be ambushed, so you have to readjust your whole formation before the ambush, the potential ambush. Nobody does it, so you have to put everybody back in your standard battle formation. So you have no control over it. If you're ambushed, it's random positions, you're facing the wrong direction, your units are stunned for a while until they get attacked or they, snap out of their stupor. And they also get a debuff into their combat power for the entirety of the battle in the ambush. So it's really nasty to be ambushed, especially in a unit in the army we showed earlier with Horsa, for example. You have the strong front line, you have this weak back line, summoner ranged. If they end up in the front line, it's obviously quite devastating.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, we do not seem to have any more questions. So thank you, Alex, for joining, and thank you everyone here in the stream for joining. We hope you enjoyed. And also, we are actually featured in PC Gaming Show while we were streaming. So we encourage you to go check out the trailer. It actually shows a bit more of the dark side and the Crusade, presenting basically the different heroes that are characteristic in the campaign.
Different playable factions.
The different playable factions.
And the second world you will be able to visit.
Exactly.
The Silence, the Purgatory. So there's a lot of exciting stuff in the trailer we have not shown on this map.
Yes, but we hope to be able to show it to you very soon, if I may say.
Yeah, hopefully.
All right. Thank you, everyone, and have a good evening, day, morning, wherever you're located in the world. Goodbye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.